Yeah, as I was thinking about my introduction for this podcast slash just kind of experiment to go with the flow, I thought about how many things today have been quite complicated, have become quite complicated, and how we didn't have less joy like when we were younger and had much simpler things and had like analog things like tapes, cassette tapes, like analog photography, um, less possibilities. So it didn't feel like we really had less. We were really content with what was there. And now, like, we have so many different options, so many things are getting developed, like day by day there are new apps and whatever that are there to kind of help us optimize our lives, make it better. But in some way they often really add to the noise and to the complicatedness that we already have in our lives. Because when I really look at all the kind of apps or programs I have and how they get updated frequently. And then many things change, like in the setup and how they look like. And every time I have to adapt to something new. And that doesn't only happen like with one program, like let's say with Zoom, but like with just many, many others. And I feel there is so much of my time and my attention going to adapt to that, to learn that, to understand it until I can work with it again, or feel like I really understand it. And to me, that really it takes away some of my joy, and I would rather have like less perfect things and more joy, more ease. And so when I started this, I thought like, okay, I could do it perfect and I could like, have a proper video editing program and like I could really kind of take care that this has the best sound and whatever. But then, it's a format where I want to share thoughts and musings, but it's not my job. It's not something that I get paid for or, where I have to be a professional and I want to do it for my joy. And I know once I start, to pay so much attention to all these technical details, I lose my joy. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm starting to overthink it. Once I want to make one thing perfect, I want to make everything perfect. I find more and more flaws. And that's really a pattern I know from myself and from my life. Um, Once I start overthinking, I won't do the thing anymore at some point because it just becomes this big burden where I just feel like, oh, it takes so much of my time and energy, and like I will never manage to do it perfectly. And like I put so much um, time and energy into the preparation that once I come to the point of doing it, like all the energy is already in some way lost. I mean, this is my experience, this is me. It might be very different for you, but this is just something I noticed. And so I felt like I want to do it different in this format. I want to try something different. I want to really also just bear that this is not perfect and that it comes more from a place of spontaneity, and from connecting with what is there in the moment, not with a perfect script. Because, I've been thinking about doing a podcast or doing a format like this, I don't know, since probably more than 2 years. And I have started to script different episodes. I have started to research about how do I set it up? How do I really create an environment that's great for sound? And eventually, I just always felt so exhausted from all of that. And once I came to the point where I would record it, I felt like, oh, it's just it's not even relevant anymore, and now I would do it differently. And so I'd rather prepare less, do it more from an authentic connection to the moment and to my feelings, to my heart, to also vulnerability. And as said, yeah, just be okay that there is always a possibility that in some way people will judge it or will think like, oh, she could have done this or that better, or that I myself will think that. But yeah, so for me, this is an experiment. And I want to invite you and inspire you with this to find something in your life that maybe you wanted to do for a longer time, but you've never started it because you were overthinking it and you were trying to get it perfect. And maybe there's one thing that you really, really have on your list or you have tried to start, but you never come around to doing it because there is this thought of perfection and overthinking that's holding you back. Then maybe just do it like me in this format here and just start and accept that it's maybe not going to be perfect, but it's really coming from an authentic and present part of you that just has fun exploring and seeing what happens. And there's no problem if it's not perfect. We are humans. So with that, fingers crossed for you, and let me know if there's something that you have tried and that you want to start now.